Hi, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you how to install Speedtest Tracker on your Synology NAS in a Docker container. What it will do is monitor your internet speeds at regular intervals so that you can keep a regular check on how your internet service provider is doing with your quoted internet speeds. It's not the easiest thing to set up. It's for probably intermediate users, but if you are a novice, you can still certainly watch the video and have a go and see how you get on with it. And I'll try and make it as easy as possible and provide you with simple instructions as I can. So first, what we need to do is, once you are logged into your Synology NAS via the normal web page, so that you're in your disk station manager, what you first need to do is select Control Panel. Then, with your Control Panel open up on the screen, you need to select the Terminal and SNMP option. Then, with the Terminal option open on screen, you need to make sure first that Enable Telnet Service is ticked. Now this is only a temporary measure, so don't worry about security on this. We will be disabling it again later on once we've finished doing what we need to do with the Telnet service. So tick Enable Telnet Service and click Apply. Then with the terminal note window open on screen, you can click OK. And then you should see changes applied at the bottom of the screen. Once you see that, you can then close that terminal window. Then what you need to do is download a terminal application that you can connect from your PC with to the Synology NAS to find out some details about your user account, which we need before we can install the Speedtest Tracker application. So I recommend downloading a program which is free, and it's called PuTTY, spelt P with a capital, lowercase u, capital T, capital T, capital Y. Now I've created a tinyurl.com link which links directly to the official PuTTY website where you can download the PuTTY application from. Now I'll show on screen now a copy of that tiny URL, so just make a note of that URL so that you can open it in your browser. So once you have made a note of that tiny URL, what we need to do is open it in a new web page. So open up a new tab in your internet browser, then either type in or copy and paste, if you've noted it on your computer, the tiny URL that I created for you, which is http://tinyurl.com/38, as in numerical 38, TS, and that's lowercase, and then a number 8, and then lowercase f, lowercase m, lowercase a. So once you have typed in that URL, press enter. It should then take you to the web page where you can download PuTTY latest release. At the time of recording this video, the latest release is version 0.79. There is an installer for PuTTY, which you can actually install the program, or you can just run it as a standalone application, which is what I'm going to do. So under the alternative binary files, I'm going to click on for the 64-bit x86 PuTTY.exe. This will then bring up your Save As window where you can save the PuTTY application to wherever you want on your local PC. So I've just downloaded PuTTY now, so we can now close that PuTTY web page. Then if you go to the location where you've just saved the PuTTY application to as you'll see on screen at the moment, I've got PuTTY saved in my downloads folder. So what we're going to do is double click on PuTTY and then select Run with the Open File Security Warning window. Once you've done that, you should then see PuTTY appear on screen. As you'll see, it's now appeared on screen. So with PuTTY open on screen, in the host name or IP address, what you need to do is either type in your host name or your IP address for your Synology NAS. In my case, it is 192.168.1.5. Your IP address will no doubt probably be different. So what you need to do is find out the IP address of your Synology NAS. You should know this because you've already logged into it on the web page to access the disk station manager where we just enabled the Telnet application. So the IP address should be located in the browser window there. So once you have entered the IP address, you then need to select the option for Other and make sure that the selection next to that is selected for Telnet. Once you have confirmed those options, just click on Open. Then, when the PuTTY window appears on screen, type in your username that you use to access Disk Station Manager with. So I'll just type in my login username, then press Enter, type in your normal password that you use to access Disk Station Manager with. Once you have typed in your password, nothing will appear on screen, and then once you've finished, type Enter. You should then be prompted with your username for your NAS, and the username should be ending with a US dollar symbol. So once it does that, all you need to do is type in lowercase ID, press Enter. This will then reveal a UID number, a GID number, and also a number for groups. Now what you need to do is make a note of the UID number. In my case it is 1026, and also the GID number, which in my case is 100. Yours might be the same numbers or they might be different. You can ignore the number for groups because we don't need that. So once you have noted the UID and GID numbers, you can then type in exit and press Enter. This will then exit the PuTTY application. Now that you've exited the PuTTY application, we no longer need Telnet enabled. So what you can do is go back into your control panel for your NAS via your Disk Station Manager, which I'm doing on screen at the moment. Open up again Terminal and SNMP, and then under Terminal, where you ticked Enable Telnet Service, you now need to untick this and click Apply. This has now disabled the Telnet service back to how it was originally. So you can now close that window. Then what you need to do is, firstly, we need to install Docker if you haven't already got Docker installed. If you have, then you can ignore this step. So to install Docker, what we need to do is open up Package Center. Then in the search box, type in Docker and press Enter. You should then be presented with the results of Container Manager, and this is actually Docker Container Manager. So just click Install, wait for it to download, and it should proceed to install it. In some cases it might ask you for a destination volume. In my case I'm installing it on volume 1, so I'll just click Next, and then with the Run After Installation box ticked, we can click Done. Now you should see two container managers appear on screen, one under the Installed section and one under All Packages section. So we can now close the package center and then open up Container Manager, either by selecting the main menu, or if you've already created a shortcut on your desktop, you can open it from there. So with Container Manager open, you should see that there are no services created, which confirms that Container Manager is running, but we don't currently have any services. This is fine, so we can just close that window for the time being. Then what we need to do is open up File Station, and at the left hand side you should see a folder created automatically called Docker. What you need to do is click on Docker, and then at the right hand side click Create, and then Create Folder. The folder name that you need to enter needs to be called Speedtest, and it's all in lowercase. Once you have typed in the folder name Speedtest, all in lowercase, click OK. This will then create a subfolder called Speedtest within the Docker folder. Once you have created that Speedtest folder, you can then close File Station. Then go into your control panel and select Task Scheduler. With Task Scheduler open, you need to click on Create and then select Scheduled Task and then select User Defined Script. With the Create Task window open, under General Settings, for the task name, change this to Install space Speed Test space Tracker. It can be all in lowercase, all in capitals, or a mixture of both, whichever you so wish. Under the user, select the drop-down option and select root. Then for the option enabled, you need to untick this. Then from the menu option at the top of that window, select schedule. Then under schedule, select run on the following date, and start date, you should have today's date in there, and the repeat time should be do not repeat. Then you need to select task settings from the top of that window. Then in the run command, you need to copy and paste the text that I've posted in the comment for this video under the section task settings to be pasted. Now just highlight all of that text below that title, paste it into the user defined script box. So the text that we're pasting, as you'll see, starts with docker space run space -d. So that should be the first line of the pasting. And then scrolling down to the last line of the pasting should be Speedtest Tracker v0.11.17. So that should be the last line of the text that you're pasting in. Now under the option for PUID, what you need to do is make sure that that PUID number matches the UID number that we obtained when we opened up the PuTTY Telnet application. So make sure that that number is the same as what you noted down when we were in the PuTTY application, and also make sure that the GID number noted in the PuTTY application matches the number for the pasted text here. So once you have pasted the user defined script in, you can then click OK. Then for the modifying system configurations warning, click OK, and then finally paste in the password that you use to access your disk station manager and click submit. Then you will be taken back to the control panel with a list of scheduled tasks. As you can see, I've got 3 tasks listed here. You may have more than 3 tasks, or you may have less, but you just want to make sure that you have a task listed for install Speedtest Tracker. as you can see I have here. Once you have this, you need to select it, which will highlight it in blue, and then click on Run. Then from the Run Task option, are you sure you want to run the following task? Install Speedtest Tracker, click on OK. Then a few minutes later, it should automatically have installed Speedtest Tracker for you. So to check that it's now been installed, we'll now go and select Container Manager. With Container Manager open, you should see that there's healthy, all services are healthy, and 1 containers are healthy. If you hover over it, it should say what the name of the container is, and in this instance it's called Speedtest. It has a green dot next to it, which means that it's up and running, so we can close that window. Then what we can do is open up a new tab in our internet browser and type in the IP address of our Synology NAS, but don't press enter, enter a colon and then type in port number 8999 and press enter. You should then be presented with your Speedtest Tracker login screen. So for the email address, the default one is admin@example.com and the default password is password, all in lowercase characters. Once you have typed in for the email address admin@example.com and the password all in lowercase as password, click sign in. This will then take you into the Speedtest Tracker application where you can schedule and test speed tests for your internet service provider. So with the dashboard open on the screen, we can click Queue Speed Test, which has now automatically done a speed test with the download and upload and ping time shown. Now there's various options at the left hand side for results, which stores a list of various speed test results each time you run a speed test. You can also select settings and general. Here what you can do is change the site name, you can change your time zone, you can change the content width and also the time format. Now you'll see that there's odd characters in the time format box. This is default. Now what you need to do to change the time format is if you read the text below this and hover over format, you can open up this link in a new tab, and what it will do is take you to the PHP website where it tells you the format for defining the date and time, which you need to enter in the Speedtest Tracker time format box. So for example, we would need to select capital G, which would be a 24-hour time without leading zeros, or for example H would be a 24-hour format time with a leading 0. So then we could enter a lowercase I, which here you'll see is minutes with the leading zeros, and then S for seconds. So we could then enter a space, and for the date we could enter lowercase d, which is the day of the month as 2 digits with leading zeros, and then numeric representation of a month with leading zeros would be lowercase m, and then for year we could have a capital Y, which would then be a full numeric representation of a year of at least 4 digits. But you can read through this and see which character you want, and then go back to the general settings, and in the time format you can enter, for example, capital H, colon, or a space, whichever you so wish, lowercase I, colon, lowercase s, and then a space, lowercase d, hyphen, m, hyphen, capital Y, and click Save Changes. Then if we go back to the results, we should have the created date and time being 16 hours 17 minutes 13 seconds on the 13th of December 2023. So you'll see how it formats the date and time from what you enter in that time format box, and using the format options link. The same would apply to the speed test schedule under speed test settings, where you can hover over here and open up that link, and it would then allow you to generate a time where you would want to do your speed test. Say for example at 23:30 hours, so 30 minutes, 23 hours, an asterisk, space, an asterisk, space, an asterisk, space, an asterisk. So we'd have 30 space 23 space asterisk space asterisk space asterisk. So at 11:30 p.m. each day it would automatically run a speed test on a schedule. If you were to enter 30, 23 and then the 3 asterisks in the speed test schedule box here. So then click Save Changes, and it would then automatically run a speed test at 23:30 hours every day automatically, and it would log the results. So that's basically how you enable Speedtest Tracker to perform regular speed tests for your internet service provider on a scheduled basis. Now you can obviously go through the remaining options for yourself, the database, notifications, thresholds, users, and delete data and so on, so you can actually create your own users. So that's how you enable Speedtest Tracker on your Synology NAS to run on a schedule to test your internet speeds at regular intervals. I hope you found this video useful, albeit it's probably a little bit complex, but I've tried to make it as simple as possible. I'm Tim and you've been watching Mr. Tim Tech. Thanks for watching this video, and more videos are coming soon. Bye for now.